Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. It's your ghost host with the most here, Tiki.
And BlueDragonFive, here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's selection, Danny Phantom's Fright Knight. Maniacal laugh. Maniacal laugh. All right. So, BlueDragonFive, it is 1 week until October 31st. How do you feel?
Anticipatory.
Yeah, do you have any big Halloween plans?
Nothing outside of the norm.
I literally blew my Halloween load by going to Fright Fest as zombie Jim Henson and then shaving my Jim Henson beard.
Yep.
So I'm just like, whatever. I'm not doing jack shit Halloween. And I'll probably sulk in my own misery, but that's the life. Okay,
well,
so
that's uplifting.
Yeah, isn't it? Isn't it? So we are talking about Danny Phantom today, and this is a show that it literally was like on right when I was phasing out of Nickelodeon. So I really haven't watched any of it, and I gotta tell you, BlueDragonFive, it's a really good show. I definitely think in terms of characters, the parents are really the big standouts, and also Ron Perlman, he's awesome. I don't love all the characters, though. I like Grey Delisle, but I don't really care for her character all that much. Maybe that's just because I haven't seen that much of her.
The episodes you have seen aren't really Sam heavy. That's probably why.
I guess that's the thing. Yeah, I'm just like, who is this girl? I don't understand.
I mean, she's very interesting from the get-go. You just gotta well, not from the first episode, not so much, but like she gets an episode, you get to know her, and then from that point,
I mean, to me,
her.
it kind of just seems like she's a stereotypical Hot Topic girl.
No, it's like that's the thing. It's like there's a lot more to her than that. But like on the surface, it's kind of she had two character elements, and then like there's this one episode that kind of like the first episode introduced the Technus.
Okay.
When you get to know her, you get to see that she's actually she's actually a rich girl, but she downplays it because she's more like to be looked at as a popular girl or a rich girl, and that's why she hangs out with her friends.
Okay, I like that.
He is a very likable character. Again, from that episode onward, before the first episode, she's like kind of a it's not a vegan, but it's like it's this type of.
Oh, I saw it. It's a recyclo vegan or something.
Yeah, it's like it's in the.
I saw that on the wiki. Yeah.
The first episode's Mystery Meat, where she doesn't eat things with faces on it, so she pushed this ridiculous Butch Hartman creation that has toast with grass on it. She just looks ridiculous. So that's the idea. That episode wasn't too good for her, but again, Technus episode onward, that's when you sort of like her. And the goth thing was there, and she likes the goth culture, but there's more.
That makes sense for a show like that. I mean, I'm not knocking it.
Exactly. There's a lot. She's a great character. Again, one of the great.
You know what? I'm going to tell you my biggest problem with the show. All right, you ready for it?
What is it?
It's Danny himself.
Well, this episode wasn't the most glowing example of him.
No, it was not.
Yeah. And that's the reason I was a little hesitant to bring this one up when we were formulating our episodes. But it's kind of he's still a teen. He's going to get into mishaps. And
I understand that, but he's just like literally all the jokes that fall flat on the show for me come from him. All of them. I'm not even kidding.
That's another thing. He gets better too. That's the idea. It's the first season's a lot of exploratory stuff.
Okay. I mean,
testing the waters.
The one thing I will give this show, though, right off the bat, first of all, awesome premise with the fucking parents being the world's worst ghost hunters,
yes,
and them having a ghost son that they don't know about. That's fucking amazing. I love it. Rob Paulson is the father. Frickin' Miriam Pataki is the mother. Great stuff.
Again, now this show, much like Buzz Lightyear Starkman, have an excellent voice cast. They really do. Everyone's.
Oh my god, dude!
Seriously,
Ron Perlman.
I mean, revisiting these, I was shocked. Just like it was like a blast of the past. It's been a while since I've seen these shows. Just remind me, man. Yeah, every cast member is a big name.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Literally every cat, Buzz Lightyear and Danny Phantom, every name's a big one.
Yeah, but you know, like really good premise for the show, and I'm kind of confused about the way that the world works right now, like the ghost dimension and everything. I don't
Yeah.
entirely get it.
Then again,
But
more episodes would illuminate that. So.
yeah, I definitely see the potential for it in terms of world building. I definitely, and I'm kind of like into ghosts and everything myself. Like me and my sister definitely had a big paranormal phase when we were like, you know, teenagers. So I can definitely relate to stuff like this.
Again, big selling points. It's Ghostbusters meets Spider-Man in a way.
Yeah, with fucking amazing Ghostbuster characters.
Yeah, and again, just like I can't recommend this show anymore. It gets really good, but you know, the beginning it finds its sea legs in the beginning.
Sure.
There were a few hit or miss episodes in the first season. Then once they get on the ball, like when you get episodes like one of the ones I showed you, the origin of Vlad, the introduction of Vlad Plasmius, that's when things get cooking.
Yeah, that was definitely a good episode. I mean, like I said, I can tell the potential is there. It definitely, it really reminds me of, I'm going to drop a reference to a show that you've probably not even heard of, probably outside of me briefly mentioning it. Star versus the Forces of Evil.
I heard about this show.
Which is a new Disney Channel show. It like just came out this year, and it's basically about a princess from another dimension who kicks ass and also is obsessed with rainbows and ponies. So that's a really good contrast, you know, the whole like ass kicking nature of her versus the whole like I love adorable things. But the thing that reminds me of that show in comparison to this is that show is all about kind of like these alternate dimensions and stuff like that. Like she literally has alternate dimension scissors where she like can literally cut into another dimension with scissors. It's kind of awesome.
It's kind of fun now I think about it when you bring that up. I love a show like Danny Phantom, but I also love a show like Kim Possible. And something they have in common is they have a realistic kind of teen experience. Like, again, just kind of these teen characters that they're going through the motions of their development. As in the meantime, they have these great kind of bigger than life things going on. It kind of worked well for them in terms of the premise of the show.
The teen drama always interested me more than the spy stuff in Kim Possible. I'm not even gonna lie.
I mean, they're both, both
really good character development.
Yes. All right. So I guess basically on the whole, Danny Phantom really interesting premise, and this episode does have some again a show where you have a ghost as protagonist. Almost every episode is kind of a spooky, kind of Halloween-ish gimmick, but this one in particular is set around Halloween, and we get into some holiday shenanigans.
And it definitely, I really love just the setup of this episode and just the whole haunted house vibe of it. It's really fun.
Before we go further, let me ask you this. What do you think kind of like the quasi-50s setting, kind of the Archie setting of this world?
I mean, to tell you the truth, it really does remind me of Fairly Odd Parents, obviously. I'd have to see more of it to really tell you the truth.
Yeah, because they got a place kind of like Arnold's here. It's called the Nasty Burger. Again, why do they go to a place called the Nasty Burger? I'll never know. But again, it feels really kind of like stylistically.
Sounds like a fast food restaurant in a theme park. Heyo.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's just kind of like this neat kind of with the world building. It feels this 50s vibe to it. It feels really unique, and yet there's modern day technology, but it's still just really kind of neat.
I'd probably have to watch more of it to get the 50s vibe because I wasn't really feeling that.
Yeah, I'm just saying the only thing you really got here is like all the Letterman jackets in the high school.
The Letterman jackets, yeah, definitely.
Basically, the high school kind of operates like a 50s high school in many ways, like how things kind of work story-wise there.
Sure.
Okay, so let's get into it. So, episode opens. Danny crashes, he's fighting an eel ghost, and he crashes into some pumpkins, appropriately enough. Good opening.
Eels, boy!
Mighty eel strength! He tries hitting...
You and I are referencing two completely different things, and yet they go together.
So...
I love the design of this eel ghost, by the way.
Yes. As he's fighting this thing, he tries hitting it with an ectoblast. The eel absorbs it, and Danny's just making banter with it. Well, you'll never see this coming. Oh, well, you know it.
I mean, I guess the whole Danny making banter with the villains thing, that's definitely a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
My whole thing is that literally all his lines aren't really that funny.
And this episode, not the best example of Danny's character.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely found him more compelling in the other episodes that I watched, to tell you the truth. This episode really wasn't flattering for him.
Now, interesting little tidbit about the actor who plays Danny Phantom. David Kaufman. David Kaufman's really good, and his most notable character is an aide of superhero character. He is Jimmy Olsen in the Superman animated series.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice.
Okay, so basically, the high school is decorating, and Dash, kind of the Flash Thompson.
I love how the hall, I love this little detail. The hall is called the Hall of Ween.
So you go, so Dash here is kind of like the Flash Thompson of the universe here.
He is literally every little douchebag that picked on me in middle school. Literally,
yeah.
He's like the spitting image.
There's a lot of bullying in the show with Dash.
Oh God!
But with that too, don't worry. Like he always gets, Danny always gets his. Make sure he gets his comeuppance with that thing.
Well, not necessarily this episode.
Not necessarily this episode. I don't know. He's still an imposing guy, and Danny still has to take his lumps. So in the end, usually he gets the upper hand over this guy.
Okay.
And it's kind of funny. Later on in the show, he does actually literally turn in the Flash Thompson that he loves the Danny Phantom character, but he just still doesn't like Danny Phantom. Cool. Just there are episodes sometimes where there's an episode where he and Danny Phantom are like kind of paired up together, and just Danny Phantom's like, "Oh, I don't like this guy." And he's like saying, he basically looking up to him. He's like, "Well, we got to get out of this. How are we going to do this?" This guy. Okay,
so in walks Ron Perlman.
Yes, Principal, Mr. Lancer.
Awesome.
Let's see. So Dash is proudly hangs up a sign here, and get all decorations here. Danny is slammed into.
I'm sorry, Ron Perlman doesn't come in quite yet.
Yeah, not yet. So basically, during the fight, Danny is slammed into the building, and his phase out kind of reflex ability kicks in. So he phases through the building unseen, and then he slams into the ladder. And at this point in the series, it's kind of an interesting progression with the powers. At this point, sometimes he will phase back to normal again, either as a reflex action or like accidentally. But in this case, he slams into the thing, then he transforms back to Danny Fenton. And unfortunately, slamming. Which is that was my biggest gripe down the line, is like when he became more of a public figure. Seriously, no one can put the pieces together. His parents never figured it out. I was like, seriously? One word. Very similar. One line. Phantom? Change a few letters. Anyway, point is.
Well, to be fair, I definitely think the Fenton thing is definitely a play on Marvel.
Yeah.
I mean, that just sounds like a Marvel name. Dr. Otto Octavius.
Okay, so Danny slams into the ladder, he changes back, and Dash is coated in purple paint on his Letterman jacket. You've defaced a Letterman jacket, which is punishable by a beating.
Ugh.
Anyway, so then Mr. Lancer interrupts. Now, here's my gripe with the episode. Again, things have the motivator episodes, and Mr. Lancer, he interrupts the fight. He's like, grapes of wrath. And he's an English teacher. That's why he has all the literary references.
Nice.
Which is kind of a funny. He always makes references like, again, the wonderful Ron Perlman as Mr. Lancer, giving all this the most dramatic credence in the world, which is awesome. Grapes of wrath. Why shouldn't they? I love it. It's not classic. It's not classic Ron Perlman just being all yelly and tough. It's just him being the complete opposite of Ron Perlman.
Exactly. It's a really good performance.
Why shouldn't I suspend
Robert Paulson is kind of like opposite Robert Paulson in his role as well.
Yeah. Tell me why I shouldn't suspend you both. Now, here's my gripe. So, again, Danny, at this point, he slams into the ladder and, paint falls. This is an accident. Dumb bully overreacts. He's about to pummel him, and then Lancer walks and he sees these two kids. Now, Danny's not throwing a blow. Not a blow has been thrown. Only one threatening violence. Big guy over here. Lancer walks in. Yeah, it's pretty easy to see who has the upper hand here, and it says, well, why shouldn't I suspend both of you? Why both?
Because it's a cartoon, and from the 3 episodes that I saw, I can tell that Lancer's whole thing is like giving out unfair punishments. That's why.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that didn't bother me as much.
I should tell you, too. I'm just saying, it kind of bugs me because it does feed into some of the crap the school systems do with bullying and fighting. It's
no, don't get me started.
Yeah, all right. Never mind.
Yeah, that's literally like my.
Okay, fine, never mind. So
sensitive subject right there.
Basically, so suspended for fighting is his football star. True. Again, why don't you just playing the angle? Playing the angles of, well, football star, probably should keep him around to play the games and stuff. Otherwise, I get like a riot of teachers and students on my end here saying, "How could you suspend Dash on the night of the big game?" He's thinking about that. Well, I must at least pretend to be fair. Which again, Lance, you're just putting it out there, right on Front Street, just saying, well, I'm completely corrupt in certain areas here. It's like, I don't even care, but just to pretend I'm being fair here, And Butch Hartman and his teacher character is always something, So,
dear God, the theories around Crocker. Oh boy. Oh, the internet is having fun with that.
So I must at least pretend to be fair. So you two, basically, I'm going to give you two a more creative outlet for your aggressions, which again, give Lancer some points here. He's kind of working on some conflict resolution here.
Yeah, and it leads to an awesome setup for a Halloween episode that I've never seen done before, really.
There is actually this one really great episode of Lancer where Danny gets to know him, where Lancer really just kind of makes him a better student with the English thing. Of course, it's at a completely inopportune time where you have like a Spider-Man-like scenario of like action going on here, and of course he can't get there because he has to ace an English test. So, let's see. So, Lancer brings up the abandoned Townsend place. For the annual haunted house party, and it's Mr. Lancer's turn, and he's going to do it better than Miss Teslaft. Voiced by Grey Hiles, doing her tough woman voice. Because she did it last year, and it shows a picture of her. Well, good luck beating my Franken Gertrude Stein.
Oh God. This kind of thing literally happened all the time at my high school. So yeah.
You had beefy gym teachers who had Franken.
No. I mean, just in general, teachers trying to one up each other with like the extracurricular stuff.
Okay, so basically, Lancer kind of dangles some bait for him here, saying, "Well, scariest room avoids detention." So Danny's confident right off the bat. Things are going to go well for him because again, kid who can turn into a ghost knows a little thing about scary. That's his mindset there. Dash has a side bet in mind. He puts a little side bet here. So the terms are: if Danny wins, Dash runs around the parking lot in his underwear. If Dash wins, something much more horrific happens.
Yeah, right. I don't really think the terms of this bet are very balanced.
No, they're not. So if Dash wins, Danny must eat Dash's filthy year-old, I'm assuming, underpants. And what's more horrifying about this is that Tucker points out, Tucker and Sam are in the area, basically pointing out, I don't know what's scarier, the fact that he had the underwear, or the fact that he carries them around.
I'd say the.
Hello? Dickie, and he's frozen. Well, Tiki takes a moment to find himself. Oh, never mind, he's here.
Hello?
You froze for a second, now you're back.
I was frozen today?
You were frozen a few seconds ago, specifically.
Okay. That's not good. Okay.
So, anyway, so you were saying what's scarier?
Well, definitely the fact that he carries it around is scarier because that just implies that he's a psychopath of some nature.
Nice. Or it's just very unhygienic, which I would kind of go more towards.
Well, yeah, but even if he's unhygienic and has dirty underwear, why would he just carry it around with him?
That's a fair point. So Danny and Tucker, they brainstorm some ideas, bring up,
Well, hold on. I just want to point out really quick with the theme song. You're absolutely right. It's a really good theme song that kind of like.
Hello. Frozen again.
Really swap out, huh?
You're back. Go on.
My one issue with the theme song is that they literally swap out "Gotta Catch 'Em All" with "Gonna Catch 'Em All."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like that's a really not original slogan at all.
Well,
they're literally changing one word, and it's not even a big change. It's gonna to gotta.
that's a small gripe, though. Come on.
No, I know. It just.
Would you
I
admit
just
still
wanted to point it out.
It's a cool theme song. It's a good summation, I think.
Gonna catch them all. Pokemon.
Yeah, people have actually pointed that out. Well, it's awfully Pokemon-like.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
But it's so catchy, though. It's like, yeah, that's some slack.
All right.
Phantom. That's catchy. Okay, so let's see. So Danny and Tucker, they're brainstorming. They bring up an idea of a skeleton. On a scale of scary, yeah, was it from not to 10? Not. Yeah, Tucker, Tucker giving the honest truth there. Well, no, that's not gonna work. Danny does like little using his powers to make a sheet ghost, and I thought it was pretty cool looking. But they're saying lame. As Sam walks in, lame.
It was pretty cool looking. I think that would have been pretty effective.
I think so, but
the only problem is that Danny can only like do one thing at a time, and it'd be kind of hard to manage. But yeah. I don't know.
Okay, so let's see. So then Sam walks in, and she has picked up a book, The Chronicles of the Fright Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's a bookstore where she just sits and sulks. Is that what she says?
This isn't skulks.
Sulks.
Sulks. Okay. Well, again, the guy thing. Again, she does kind of like she likes the lifestyle, so that's kind of the thing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Anyways,
early 2000s.
Yeah, Jazz is really kind of again the episode you get to find out she's rich. She has like this grand library and everything. She really has a really nice house.
That's cool.
Okay, anyway, so Sam's talking about talking about what you find in the book, and basically it's talking about the Fright Knight. The Fright Knight is a really cool character in this special. Would you agree?
I would say, yeah, he's right up there with, like, I think it's kind of a running theme here with these awesome characters that are invented for Halloween specials.
Nice. So the background on the Fright Knight in particular, he is the spirit of Halloween in this universe. So if his sword, this grand green long blade called the Soul Shredder, hits you, it transports you to a dimension of your worst fear, which I think is really cool sounding.
And guess what? This episode literally depicted my worst fear.
Ah, yes, I picked up on that.
It's not cool. It's not cool.
Well, man. Not your first greatest fear, your second greatest fear.
No. The carnivorous plants are just an afterthought compared to this.
So it's just giant carnivorous things then.
Yeah, well, giant we'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it. The point is, so Danny recognizes an illustration in the book about the layer of the Fright Knight, and of course he recognizes from the Ghost Zone map they've been making. He's been in the Ghost Zone. He's trying to map off there so they get an understanding. That's pretty much it.
I got to point this out. You know what this does remind me of? It does remind me of Gravity Falls in a way, where they're kind of like collecting information about this supernatural thing that's going on.
Well, the thing with the Ghost Zone map, Tiki, is that it in the beginning it wasn't really like a reoccurring thing, but later on there was like literally kind of this map, this specific map, not the one they're making. This is just so they know kind of point A, point B. It was like a practical reason. Down the line, there was this kind of scroll-like map that you could actually use to find portals to the Ghost Zone, and like like a whole map of the Ghost that would transport you there.
Okay.
Pretty cool. I mean, it was world building all the time, like going to the realms of our bad guys who would be sent to the Ghost Zone, Ghostbuster style. They would actually go, in their free time, they go to their own particular section of the Ghost Zone, their little haunting place. Mm-hmm. And this is the Fright Nights. Okay, so Danny gets an idea from this. Says, well, like he recognizes the layer from the Ghost Zone. I can get some from here, and basically let's get some ideas from this place and fuse them into the room.
By fuse, you mean totally rip off?
Yeah. So we cut to Danny's room here, and just looking for the book. He hasn't gone to the zone quite yet. He's still Danny's a less impressive ripoff. Mm-hmm. Literally.
It's pretty bad.
Let's just say rip off literally, because he uses his sister Jazz's stuffed animals, decapitated heads that he ripped off to put on.
Kind of a Toy Story vibe there a little bit?
Nah.
No, I'm just saying.
Okay, let's see. So, personally I thought it was kind of cool, but just kind of lacking, just kind of lacking oomph.
It just feels like the kind of thing that a regular shitty high school haunted house would look like.
Yeah, it was.
Essentially.
I thought the look for the Fright Knight was kind of neat.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't spectacular. It was like, oh, it's kind of neat. And Danny then possesses him. And I thought this to me. I thought was Danny that some funny stuff in this episode. Just like, it wasn't a lot for Danny this episode to work with. This bit I thought was pretty funny. I am the Fright Knight. Tremble before.
He's using his power, sure, and it looks good. I'm saying everything else looks pretty lame.
Yeah, but then he pulls this rubber toy inflatable sword. Says, "Tremble before the soul shredder." It's inflatables like poking Tucker with that. It was pretty funny. Him trying to imitating the Fright Knight. And then again, there's some comedy here. It slices, it dices, it creates your worst fear. How much would you pay for this? I'm turning like Carnival Barker, like your home shopping network guy. 59 cents, says Tucker. Not impressed. So let's see.
Jack and Maddie are bursting in right about now, I think.
Oh yeah, so Tucker. Before that, though, Tucker's he was going trick or treating, and he's plotting his optimal chocolate payload via Groucho costume.
Yes,
he has Groucho glasses, which I wonder if it's a rights thing that they couldn't get away with the mustache. I wonder if that's the case.
Could be.
I was saying, then again, Timmy Turner got away with it, so I wonder, well, why wouldn't they? I don't know. There's no mustache on him.
I was impressed that the show directly referenced the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, yes. And they mentioned that the one that carries wanted to buy the team. I guess because it was supportive, they got away with it.
But the town of Green Bay won't sell them.
Oh, Martin Mull, I love that guy. So basically, they're like, well, why such a little of a costume? Well, he wants to travel light, for something sweet, more stuff.
Makes sense. And
then he opens the door. He's about to leave, all triumphantly trick or treat, and then he gets foamed. A lot, not slimed, but foamed. He foamed me. So the Fentons are very proud of their foamer. It worked. So by the way, this is the only time, if not very few times, you ever see Jack Fenton with the thing with the hood up. He's as you've seen, he loves putting his face on everything. Which there is actually a really funny gag in an episode. You get the origin of the series because they didn't start out with the origin episode.
Well, that makes sense because they literally have the origin in the theme song.
Yeah. Well, basically, down the line, they actually did this funny thing where initially the suit Danny was wearing, before Sam altered it, it had Jack Fenton's face on it because he loves product placing his stuff with his face on it. Literally, there are gadgets you'll see with his face worked onto it sometimes.
So, in a way, Miriam Pataki, again, married to an egomaniac who loves to market himself.
And a dope.
Yep. But and a much more lovable dope. He's
lovable, but he's a dope. My God.
I mean, I love Big Bob, but Big Bob is kind of more of a love-to-hate sort of thing.
Yeah. Anyways, the Predator foamers, again, they're ghost hunters to the core, but again, they just can't get out of their ways to kind of view how the world sees them sometimes.
And this is kind of awesome because this was at least a good decade or so before the big ghost hunting thing became a fad on TV. We had Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, whatever.
Now, if I'm right, Tiki, one of the episodes you saw was the episode completely parodying all that stuff, $1 Million Ghost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which, those characters, some of them do actually come back. Like the guys in white actually became a fixture of the show. Not a big fixture, they reappeared, and just the idea of all these there's a Scooby-Doo parody gag. There's a bunch of really kind of lame ghost hunters in comparison to our awesome inept ghost hunters.
Right.
So Jack's Prev, and he's questioning, Tucker in the Halloween costume, isn't he a little old to be wearing a ridiculous costume around in public? To walk around in public in a stupid costume as they're both decked out in their ghost hunting apparel. Really funny. Oh, Jack Finn. Again, wonderfully voiced by Rob Paulson. So let's see. So they're decontaminating the area. That's why they're there. That's why they're foaming the crap out of the place, because they detect an ectostorm approaching, and also they detected Danny in the area. Again, can't pick up on the fact their son is a ghost.
Like I said, I get the feeling like this show, it really doesn't care about logic in terms of like, of course, logically, any real parent would notice, but like just like the thing with the teacher giving out the suspensions and detentions all trigger happy. It's just a part of their character. They're idiots. It's like, there's not much explanation before that, and I kind of like that.
I'll tell you this, Tiki. The two best moments with Jack Fenn, you've seen one of them. Just, I love the moment where Danny Phantom's giving like Jack Fenn the pep talk.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
They kind of love just not just his son, but I mean literally Danny Phantom kind of saying, "Oh, he's kind of boosts his confidence." Oh, it's so sweet, such a sweet mom, father and son.
Now listen up here, Jack.
Well,
yeah, just call my dad by his first name. That's cool.
That's what I'm saying. That whole episode with that was great. But the other moment that you haven't seen, I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say the last interaction between him and Vlad is very awesome.
Okay.
It's like a very you never. It's just the way it plays out. It's just played so realistically. It's like, oh man, that's great. Okay, so again, they're worried about this ectostorm. It's flaring up around this time. So that's why they're decontaminating the spooky area here. They need to leave. Danny's trying to get them out of there, obviously, because they're causing a lot of damage. But aside from that, they want them to leave before Lancer sees them, before he thinks that they might be helping him. Anyway, so then they pick up on, again, they're always there to pick up on Danny in trouble, never pick up on him exactly. When he's embarrassed or in need. Just, again, they're much more competent than the Fairly Odd Parents. Don't get me wrong. I want to make that perfectly clear. When they do this stuff.
Better parents.
Absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. When Danny's ever in trouble, these guys, they spring in action. They care about their son. They do.
Sure.
In the beginning of the show, and again, they adjusted this very well. As initially, it was this idea that like Jazz is more, but no, they show that they have equal love for Danny throughout the show. They adjusted.
Whereas with the Fairly Odd Parents, it's literally just those people are the poster children for terrible, terrible parents.
Yeah, seriously, the Turners should be locked up. I'm serious. They should be locked up. Not the Turn Bombs. I mean, literally the Turners. They got to be locked up. Those are horrible parents. I can make a dark joke right now, but I'm not going to about who would a better parent would be.
Oh dear. I'm
not making that joke though, because it's going too far.
All right.
That lady's really screwed up. So, anyways, basically, is this another anti-detention assignment? Says no. Just I was thinking about getting interested in ghost hunting like my old man. Again, seeing Jack Finn getting all weepy. He's like, I would cry if it wasn't a sign of weakness. I'd weep. And of course, he's absolutely weeping. Again, kind of sweet, but misguided.
The best thing about him is that he acts like he's this big badass, but in reality, he's just kind of a joke.
Yeah, Maddie actually she's the one with all the skills.
Exactly.
And actually gets some great scenes where basically Danny will be hunted by his parents, and of course Jackman always screwing up, and then Maddie has a gun to his head, and he just gets out of there last minute. Just like, oh man, you were not getting anything from Mother's Day. Okay, so let's see. All right, so then Danny's checking out. Basically checking out Dash's theme in the next room. He's just seeing he thinks what lame theme Dash has in comparison to his awesome room again.
And it's a lame theme that's pulled off incredibly well.
Yeah, so he takes a little big. I'm sure you would like this too, because I was very impressed by it. So he takes a look in Dash's room. It's actually very impressive. The Spa of Doom.
And it's like when you first see Spa of Doom, you're like, "What? That's a joke."
But wow, I mean, just
it's great.
So I mean, he has there's this D-limb dummies. You have wire rigs on these guys, on exercise equipment. You have audio animatronics, which Lancer points out.
Yes,
audio animatronics.
It's audio animatronics.
That's very impressive. I am very impressed with that. Why can't you get more of that, Dash? Let me see some of that. Okay, anyway, so then, let's check out the horrors of Athlete's Foot, which is literally the tunnel of fungus, which is like this great little dark ride setup. That's awesome.
Exactly. I would say the dark ride setup is the only thing that was kind of improbable. All the rest of the stuff, and this is why I really liked it, all the rest of the stuff looks really elaborate, but it still seems like something you could actually do. You know what I mean?
The moral of the story, kids, the moral of the episode is trying to get across: don't underestimate your opponent. Never do that. So Danny is doomed, obviously. And again, time is of the essence. And then we see just there's underpants under glass, quite literally. Dash is just psychotically saving these things. Not pheasant under glass, but underpants under glass, and it's not a pretty sight. So, Danny, of course, pressed for time. He goes to the Fright Knight's lair. I gotta get something. So we see it's a really this really awesome spooky castle. Really nice little setup here. Really cool. Danny's literally cut by a pendulum. I forgot about this bit. I mean, I remember like the rules of the Ghost Zone, but there is an episode that establishes the rules of the Ghost Zone, where basically Danny, when he transforms into Fenton, he can walk around because humans can walk around and act like basically humans are the ghosts in the Ghost Zone.
I really love that rule. That's a really cool rule.
That was like established in this episode where Danny Phantom goes to the ghost prison. Or basically, there's one particular ghost who was a warden, and he arrests ghosts. Again, he has no jurisdiction whatsoever, but he views himself as a warden, so he arrests ghosts. And he puts him in a prison. Anyway, so, and this guy, I gotta tell you, that guy, Walker, that's his name, he really ruins Danny's life in the real world. He has a big impact on the show, that guy. He basically makes Danny Phantom look how Spider-Man is perceived by J. Jonah Jameson. He makes him public enemy #1. He frames him for invasion on the town, which basically everyone's saying, oh, and plus they give him a lame name. They don't instantly arrive at Danny Phantom because he's not going around sharing his name. They give him a funny, ridiculous name. They call him Inviso Bill. Inviso Bill. It's one of the funniest, dumbest sketches ever. Okay, so Danny is cut by a pendulum here, and what's interesting is that he bleeds ectoplasm. I forgot about that, which is kind of a neat little touch there. I mean, I forgot that. That's how you get away with cutting your protagonist. You get green blood.
Exactly. Right.
Then it reaffirms the whole, the ghost can get hurt here, but of course, human. He remembers as he's walking through the spike room. It's closing incredible style. Like, oh boy, he's got to get through there real quick. And he realizes, oh wait a second, humans can walk with a ghost around here. He just walks freely and is phasing through things. He removes the sword from the soul shredder from a pumpkin. Awesome sword. These big skeletons look like they're about to attack, and then they bow, seemingly before Danny, but actually before their actual master, who arises from a pumpkin. That's a cool entrance. He arises, they all bow before the Fright Knight. And
this guy's a really cool design to him.
Yes, first, Fright Knight, absolutely wonderful design. And also...
Definitely very Headless Horseman-esque in a way.
Yes, yeah. And also...
with the head, of course, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I just love this this ghostly knight. It's such a cool design. And this guy he doesn't really come back a lot. He comes back one more time in a big way, that he is a knight to the Ghost King, who's a big baddie in the Ghost Zone. Okay. The idea is you think this guy's a big deal, then his master, his Thanos-like master comes around, like, oh boy, all the ghosts are afraid.
So it's kind of like a Vader-Emperor relationship in a way?
Kind of, but I mean, the guy's got like a real Thanos-like presence, though, and they're actually, it's funny, this show actually does like a whole Infinity Gauntlet movie.
Oh, does it really?
Basically, it's only 3 gems. Basically, there's this human guy played by John Cryer. He gets his hands on the gauntlet, and he takes the reality. It's very much inspired by Infinity Gauntlet. Literally 3 gems that work a lot like the Infinity Gems. And it's pretty cool. Anyway, so the point is, this guy is part of a grand scheme that we see play out down the line this season. Anyway, so the Fright Knight appears, really cool, and he's voiced by Michael Dorn. Do you know who Michael Dorn is?
Sounds vaguely familiar.
2 big roles. Worf from Star Trek Next Generation. That's his biggest role. The Klingon guy, the guy with the kind of the craggly head.
I'm not a big Star Trek fan, so I know him more from the one episode of South Park he was in, where he was himself.
Well, importantly, the one I'm sure you're going to know him from, he was Weasel from I Am Weasel.
Oh, okay. Wow, Worf and Weasel are wow. I never would have put that together.
He's the awesome big, and also I know some DC characters he's voiced. He was like Steel on Superman the Animated Series. He's Calabac from Superman. He's the son of Darkseid. Pretty cool. Point is, Michael Dorn, very great deep booming voice, really intimidating, just the kind of voice you want for this guy. You have released me. Return my sword. So my reign of terror can begin anew. The guy has really awesome lines this episode, doesn't he? I mean, the Fright Knight is so freaking awesome.
He is.
Anyway, so Danny tries to strike a deal with him and say, well, I was going to bring it back at midnight, but this terror is not sounding too good to me.
That's not a request, boy. It's a demand.
Whelp. And people, by the way, I want to tell you, some of the bad guys that really fool themselves, they love calling Danny a whelp because he's a young guy. Like Skulker calls him a whelp all the time, and now the Fright Knight's calling him whelp. People love to use whelp in this show. Mm-hmm. Danny flees. Pumpkin, he throws a pumpkin and unleashes ghost. Basically, a ghost Pegasus, which is so awesome. It's like the Fright Knight's horse, like this ghost, horrific-looking Pegasus. It's really cool. A nightmare, if you will. So, the ectostorm is starting to flare up. We see some trick-or-treating going on. You know, the Fentons are ghost hunters. They're saying,
Code 5! Completely seriously, and then everyone else is just like, hey, look at those two jackasses in the plumber costumes.
Yep. Also, it's funny, like, Jack Fenn really got... There's this one episode that shows Jack Fenn got in trouble one year a lot. He tried to be... In alternate universe, he became the Danny Phantom of an alternate universe. And he tried fighting ghosts, but he fought them on Halloween, which obviously presented some problems. Okay, so... Anyway, so chase happens. You know, Danny's trying to escape the Fright Knight here. He closes the portal. And the knight then escapes the portal. Which, by the way, this is another sticking point of the series always going to bug me, is that the ghosts always escape the portal. It's not really any closure there. It's like they always just phase through the portal in some way.
Right.
It's always kind of bugs me.
At one point, Danny would figure out a solution for that.
No, the parents know, but it's sometimes the ghosts can't escape. Most of the time, they just can. They find an alternate route, or they just phase through the thing. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, there's this one hilarious bit where Jack Fenn's just working on the new thumbprint scanner to open it. He's just like messing around, and basically ghosts are like going in and out the thing all the time, just because he kept like messing around with the thumbprint scanner. Okay, anyway, let's see. So after that, after Fright Knight then escapes. Sam and Danny are, Danny appears behind Sam, and he stole the sword. Well, more like borrowed, according to him. The sword changes the house into something scary. It's kind of slowly affecting things. Less the sword, more the ectostorm, I should say. Mm-hmm. So Dash's room now has like ghost zombies instead of the D-limb dummies. Danny says, well, after Lancer judges, I'll put it back. After he judges the room, they'll put it back. What's the worst that could happen? Which, Butch Hartman's show is the least good thing you can ever say.
Well, Butch Hartman, yeah, I feel like he definitely has a formula to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, literally, his character saying like, what could go wrong. That has never.
Right. It's always just like, we have this one idea. We're just like, hey, I'm just gonna play around with that. I'm just gonna do it. Even though it's a relatively bad idea, I'm just gonna do it. And then it's like, womp womp.
Okay, so then the knight escapes and says, free! I will transform the world into
my own personal pantheon of terror.
Yeah, nothing. Oh, it's so cool. So let's see. So there's nothing inside the room of doom. Let's see. So basically, Mr. Lancer walks in. I guess he's judging. He says, "Well, cheap theatrics. Basically, all the cheap theatrics are turned scary by the storm brewing. So basically now the spiders turn into as Lance is listening. Oh, cheap theatrics. Like they won't do you any good. They won't impress me. I'm not easily scared. And basically, I'm sure you want to talk about this, don't you? The ectostorm turns this grouping of little plastic, cute little toy spiders into a giant, scary, hairy, ghostly spider.
Yeah, I hate giant spiders, but it's specifically the next scene with him that will
especially when they fight Superman.
Yeah. Oh God.
And when they're mechanical, that's the worst. When they're giant.
Well, it's okay because when they fight Superman, then you can just hide under a rock and it's all good.
Okay. Anyway, so let's see. So then Dash is fleeing. Dash is fleeing from the building, and I love this. The Fright Knight that picks up on this. I know that terror. I know. I know this. I know it's the scent of my blade on that terror. Where are you running from? Just asked Dash. 917 Maple Street. Again, the storm's brewing around the house. Fright Knight goes towards there. Let's see. So, up yonder hill lies the instrument of my ultimate ascendancy. My soul shredder. Again, he's got really great dialogue, and I don't want to write any of that off.
Tyrion in a way.
Yeah, I know. It's really cool.
I won't go that far, but he's very well spoken. He's very eloquent.
Yeah. No, he's got some good presence to him. I'm loving this Fright Knight. Again, he doesn't appear. He only appears in really two things. He never really comes back, but he's really cool.
He is.
So anyway, see the storm affecting the place is like turning cars into the ghostly monster fish cars.
These are really cool designs too.
Mailbox turns into a ghost mailbox that's spitting up mail. Tucker still thinks the Fright Knight is Danny, possessing the armor. So he's just walking up to him, not a good idea. And the knight warns him, "Yeah,
I would show a little more respect to your future ruler."
So first of all, let me just say this: I love the knight just kind of giving the he's just viewing this like dumb kid. Oh, listen, kid, show some respect to your elders, all right? I love he's like giving him a little warning. He's not like a cruel guy. Just saying, well, give me some warnings. Don't do that again, kid. Don't hit me with the paddle ball again, all right? Anyway, so then after that warning, he goes, "Oh, what's the horse made of? Flaming bed sheets? Flaming bed sheets of death."
You're not Danny, are you?
Yep. I am the Fright Knight, spirit of Halloween. He vaporizes Tucker's candy, melting it. Importantly, remember he still holds on to it. It's not atomized, just like all melted. Like, hey, he spent a lot of time getting that candy. It's not very pleasant. So again, we see the ectostorm is getting rough. Once the ectostorm touches the rest of the globe, transformations will be permanent. And this will be my new domain. So take me to the sword. So you're not Danny, are you? Okay, so let's see what's going on next. Yes, and then Lancer's you take the same.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so Lancer, he's caught in a spider web right in the middle, just a giant spider web, as a giant hairy-ass spider's about to eat him. And I just have written down in my notes my own personal hell.
So Tiki has been, in fact, struck by the Soul Shredder.
No, you don't even know, dude. When I saw this, I literally had this reaction, like, "Oh God, oh no, oh God." It is just a deep underlying terror for me. The idea of being eaten alive by a giant spider. The idea of being in its web, being completely powerless to stop it. The whole process of going through its fucking digestive system. The multiple giant legs crawling up on you. It is like, I literally cannot think of anything worse. That is like the pinnacle of fear in my mind, is that. I fucking can't stand spiders.
I don't know. I think Onion from Steven Universe is a little more terrifying than this spider.
No. I think the implications of Onion are terrifying.
He had a mouse in his mouth!
Well, I'm thinking of his birthday video.
See, that to me is much more scary than the giant spider.
No, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely psychological terror for sure, and I do find psychological terror to be horrifying, but giant spiders, man, especially the idea of being caught in a web. Oh God, it's so not okay that I literally was like, spiders. I was literally, I was like relieved when Danny I was like, kill it, I don't want to see it.
Kill it with fire.
No, really, because I was just like, I was to the point where I was just like, oh God, this is too much. Like, I feel like I'm like a 5-year-old kid who can't handle a cartoon.
All right, so let's hear Lance's reaction to the spider. He says, "Okay, mildly impressive. I'm mildly impressed by this." And here's the cure-all for stuff like this. So basically, after Lancer gives it a pass, Danny uses the foamer to return things to starting to return things to normal, like the spider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, basically the idea of majority of the ghost hunting equipment, when you have something like the foamer, you'll kind of reverse the properties, like the ectoplasm, residual ectoplasm of the thing, which is the ghostly material. Yeah. Usually it just kind of makes a ghost like vanish or transports it to the ghost zone. Sometimes just the reverses the effects like this, because it's something that's possessed in a way. It's possessed by ghostly energy. So now ghostly energy gone, it's a bunch of cute little purple spiders again the Tiki can handle. So let's see. So
the night bursts in, and Lancer's like, "Whoa, that is one fancy flaming robot."
Very nice. Okay, so again, as they're using the foamer, as he bursts in, as soon as he says "I win," everything goes back to normal. As Danny Reacher saying before the night burst in, fancy robot horse there. Don't let him get the sword. He's holding Tucker, and then Tucker's warning him, don't let him get the sword. Oh, hi, come here often. As he is caught in the web with Lancer for a moment there.
Oh God.
Let's see. So he gives. Let's see. So. Oh yeah, I remember the Fright Knight gets the sword. He lifts the sword with Danny on. He's like flailing him around. It's pretty fun.
Well, this is certainly exciting, but is it scary?
And then Lancer, as he says that, he is decapitated in a manner of speaking with the sword, which is basically what means is as soon as the sword touches him, he doesn't actually get decapitated, but again, it transports you to a dimension of your worst fear, not carnivorous spiders, because that's Tiki's worst fear. Transports Lancer into, he disappears from that web into this black room, and this black room then reveals he is teaching.
Yes, it's scary.
And it's not just it's education attacking him. So literally, I thought this is kind of an effective little thing.
No, I love the idea of haunted math equations. That's really cool.
Now that scares me. Like, oh God, math! No!
Math is literally the reason why I'm going for a certificate in high school and in college and not a degree.
Yeah, seriously, math. Seriously, folks, math is no joking matter. That stuff is
fuck
terrible.
Math. The worst part is algebra. It's like, when are you ever gonna fucking use algebra?
Anyway, so math literally.
I'm sure people can point out examples of certain careers, but whatever.
So math is literally trying to kill Mr. Lancer here, or at least torture him. Not kill him, just torture him by literally this really great shot where the math equations, the chalk equations, grab his arms and make him with his own nails. This to me I thought was much more creepy than the spider Tiki. Is making him just like his own nails on the chalkboard, like yeah.
It's the fact that it's his own nails that gets to you, right?
It's the fact that it's grabbing his hand so he can't escape. It's math, which is even just more scary, and the fact it's he can't control. It's his own nails, like the own nail beds, like.
Yeah, I hear you.
I can't stand the sound of styrofoam, Tiki. I can't stand that. Just the sound.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That to me is kind of like the nails on the chalkboard. So
right. Yeah, I hear you.
So you eventually get kryptonite ears, and it really pains me. Ah!
It's weird how sound works like that sometimes.
Yeah, kryptonite ears. Basically, it's like Christopher Reeve reacts to that kryptonite in the Superman movie. Like the whole, it weakens at the knees at the side of kryptonite. It's like that on the ears, though.
Right.
So let's see. Okay, so as Lancer is living out his worst fear, let's see.
This contest is mine. I mean, let's bring him back.
You fiend! Again, Danny here has a learning curve, which again, given the ending of the episode, you can't completely hate Danny. That he does have it come up, and so he learns. At first, it's like, yes, I've won, and he's in his own dimension, his own worst fear, which means he's going to be terrified, which means I win. And of course, they're giving him the glare of like, you self-centered. Bring him back, you fiend!
You fiend.
Yeah. Anyway, so then we get Danny versus the Fright Knight. No luck. Tucker gets, I believe he gets stabbed with the blade.
Yeah, he basically like just goes in front of Danny, kind of sacrifices himself.
Yeah, this is good. You know, Tucker, a good friend. And then we see Tucker's worst fear. Now, Tiki, I'm not sure if you knew this about Tucker in the episode you saw that, but he loves technology.
I did not quite pick up on that necessarily.
Yes, that's Tucker's thing was back when PDA's were a big thing. A little dates the show a little bit. Tucker's big thing was PDAs and technology, and that was his big love. And you know, it's like a Big Bob with the Beepers. You know, he loves PDAs.
Well, Big Bob and the Beepers was dated when that show fucking premiered. That was kind of the joke of the Beepers.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny. Actually, they did work it plot-wise in the things. Again, Technus, a technology-based villain, of course, could feed on stuff like that. And the Skulker, this really kind of this hunter of a villain, he basically tried to upgrade himself with the PDA, like snapped it onto his arm. But then the schedule that was on the PDA dictated what he would have to do for the day. So, like, I gotta go to the library. He basically has a school schedule built into his thing, like, I cannot reprogram this thing. And basically his jetpack flies him off to the library if he's in the middle of trying to kill Danny.
Nice.
Anyway, so setting Tucker's worst fear, a world without being stranded on an island without technology, and basically then he's or clothes. That's not, you know, it's a universal thing. At least he's not keeping it around to. He's not keeping his underpants around to feed the people. And then, of course, was just like the epitome of his fear is giant pencil and paper. Like, no technology, no! You blew it up.
The thing with him that he hates writing on paper, or is that simple?
It's just he needs technology. That's it.
Okay.
Like, he just hates the idea of like a non-technological world. Again, mainly PDA based. He hates the idea of like going like devolving like the handwriting and stuff. Like, it's
right.
Okay, anyways, let's see. So
for me, it's not the fact that it's handwriting that's scary as much as the fact that it's a pencil and not a pen. Like, I remember in 4th grade, it was a big deal because that was the grade where the school let me use pen instead of pencil, and I was like, oh, hell yes, this is so much better.
Nah, I can't. The pen's too much power, you know? It's like, well, you can never go back.
Yeah, true.
You can never
I've just become a
go
master.
back, and the whiteout just makes it worse.
I've become a master of, like, crossing out and, you know, like, smudging and making one letter into another letter and stuff like that.
See, I can't, unless it's for, like, my own personal use. If I'm doing something professional, I can never not do it in pencil. It's like, too much. It's like, you'll screw it up and it'll be ruined and you'll be dead in the water. No! It'll never look right.
Well, apparently you just have higher standards than me.
Yes, I have very higher standards with that. So battle continues. Sam's looking for the book to find a solution. Again, strategic on Sam's part, as always. Book, however, is ripped by the sword in two. You know, she's still looking through pages. Again, not giving up, which I'm pleased they didn't just go, oh, the book's ripped in two, can't read it. No, she's still looking through it.
Yeah, that's cool.
There's no, essentially, it doesn't look any luck. Danny apologizes for the error in his judgment there. He realized, you know, this is his moment of his learning curve here, realizing, okay, well, I shouldn't have done. So, Danny's a learning character. He learns from his mistakes, which, again, builds him as a character. So,
like I said, I just don't think a lot of his humor really lands for me.
Well, again, I think it gets this episode not a good example. But
I mean, I totally see where you're coming from with the Spider-Man comparison. Like, I get that that's where they're coming from, but like I said, it's not really that funny to me.
Again, I'm saying not a good episode. For even just less banter is more like his humor. It's not at its finest this episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he gets to beating them up. Tries to get everything back to normal. Sam searches through the pages. Basically says, "Okay, we need to sheathe it in a pumpkin. Basically, it needs to be sheathed in a pumpkin, then everything goes back to normal. So the soul take the sword, soul shredder. Sorry, I keep thinking of Zardon the Soul Reaper whenever I keep saying that. Zardon the Soul Reaper. Anyway, so Unfortunately, there are no pumpkins in the room, which again, Dan takes a moment to realize, well, how are there no
Oh,
pumpkins in the room?
okay, I'll give you this. This was the one funny. This legitimate made me laugh. There's no pumpkins in the room. Wait a minute. It's Halloween. What am I, an idiot?
Yes. So again, that's a
That was
bit
a
of
good line. That was a good line.
I'd say it's a good bit of recurring humor. Dan, he'll point out his own mistakes in
Right,
the battle. How did I not think of that? You know, so that's like it's a bit of his character. Anyway, so no pumpkins in the room. However, he sees Tucker's melted jack-o'-lantern pail, with all the candy and stuff in there. So makeshift.
Oh dear. This just came to me, but I'm sorry. I have to reference it. Tucker! Tucker! Tucker!
Oh God! You're now referencing.
Tucker!
Now referencing that.
Tucker!
Tucker! Tucker!
Okay.
Tucker! Tucker!
All right.
Where's my mask, Tucker? Okay,
I'm sorry, that literally just popped into my head right now.
Okay, so then we get more of Danny versus the Fright Knight. He grabs the sword, and a really cool moment here. These are the moments you live for, Danny fan. There's a moment where he's in the midst of the battle of the Fright Knight here, and he flips the Fright Knight, really cool, and he impales the sword inside the pumpkin, sheaves it inside the pumpkin, and the knight's in disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I'd put it back by midnight. Anyway, so then Jack and Manny they're tracking the storm to the house again. Always late to the party, these two. Everything returns to normal. Sam's almost sucked into the ghost zone, like the big old portal. It's going to suck the Fright Knight up. Danny saves Sam. The Knight is swears vengeance as he's sucked back into the ghost zone. Lancer and Tucker, they return from their nightmares. They're back. Everything's all hunky-dory.
Sweet, beautiful technology.
Yep. Lancer is very impressed, and you won! And, then this is what I'm talking about. Again, our hero, the ending here I'm not too crazy about, but I mean, it makes sense for what's been established in the episode. It makes sense our hero wouldn't do the selfish thing,
It does.
So Danny's feeling guilty, and again, you gotta admire the kid for this. You gotta give him guts, especially he's gonna need those guts for what he's about to do. So again, really one of the most downbeat endings I've ever seen on a kids show, really. But any show, really.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's not good for the main character, but it's certainly comedic. I can think of certain kids show episodes that are just morbidly depressing.
Fair enough. I mean, Avatar: Last Airbender actually had a fair amount of kind of downer endings.
A
lot of downer endings, actually. Very.
I'm thinking of Pigeon Man specifically.
That was a magical ending, though.
It was magical in a kind of sad, depressing, like the world is fucked up kind of way.
That's fair enough. Okay, I'm just saying. Well, still, it's kind of a rarity to see.
What the original ending for that was going to be, don't you?
You told me that off air just to remind me.
Suicide.
Well, thanks for that.
Just saying.
Hence the off air.
Just saying.
Anyway, so it's kind of something you don't really see your main character get treated that poorly by the ending, but again, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Anyway, so Danny's feeling guilty, so he says, he cheated as a rationale, saying, he stole the foamer, and Sam explains again. This is all what you love about Sam. Sam and Tucker many times Tiki saddled with the explanation for why Danny's gone or what's going on. Mm-hmm. They're the cover-up crew. Yeah, covering the secret identity and such, and the explanation. So Sam.
Okay, why is it that Sam and Tucker are the only ones that can know about it?
Well, Sam was involved in the origin. So was I know Sam was directly involved. I guess Tucker was there. They were there during the birth of Danny.
Okay, I got you.
It's like I think it was Danny was showing him. It's kind of like in the opening show. Basically, in the origin episode, you do see it's like Danny wants to show his friends the ghost portal because his family are ghost hunters. He wants to show some of the cool stuff. Mm-hmm. And basically he's about to go into the ghost zone, and like Sam does the thing with the logo, and then essentially again that's the cool thing of the premise real quick is that Danny Fenton dies.
Pretty much, yeah.
And again, it's kind of a horrifying premise. You think about his parents, again, he died because of his parents' idiocy in a way.
Right. Right.
And the idea that it's the second time it's happened too, because Vlad Masters, something similar happened. He didn't exactly die, but he was kind of struck with a terminal disease. No, he's fine. Don't get me wrong, because of the ghostly side of that. But again, kind of dead. Like essentially, a terminal illness that, with the death came power. It's interesting. Anyway, so Sam providing the cover up here saying it's as a psychosomatic effect of the foam, and that's the explanation, which makes sense. Again, good on Sam for having a good explanation there. Then Lancer says, "Well, you know what? I don't really ordinarily, but here's the thing, Daniel. I don't care. Basically, let's."
It's midnight, and I have 2 scary rooms.
Exactly. So then Lancer gets phoned by the parents. And then now this to me baffles me still. So Tetzlaff walks by, she mocks Lancer with a bunch of the people who are going to visit the haunted house, and then they leave. I mean, yeah, he's coated in foam, and it's a haunted house.
No, I totally agree with you. I was like, wait, am I missing something here?
That's the thing. I don't get, like, you're mocking him for it's a haunted house. I mean, goo and foam. I mean, that's
exactly right.
And it's green. It's ectoplasm. You're just act.
No, I agree. That made no sense to me.
You have no frame of reference to know the inside's now more disappointing because things are either destroyed or gone. You have no frame of reference. You just see Lancer's coated in green slime. Maybe that's his costume, lady.
Exactly.
That's a big gripe I have with the episode, that one.
I mean, it's a little plot detail. Like, it's a little thing, but I hear you. It is kind of distracting.
Anyway, so then Tetzlaff, basically it's plotting trends. Tetzlaff mocks him, and then they all leave. Again, you all were going to a haunted house, and now you're just abandoning it, and just like writing it off, like, okay, no, we're gone. We're done.
I know, right? Right? It's like...
Oh, it's tradition. Nope, we're gone. We're done. but I mean, it's just felt out. Did you hear me? Are you deaf? Are you stupid? We're gone. We're done here. Okay? Are you rushing? Are you dragging? We're out of here. Okay, so then now Lancer does indeed when he says, Dash doesn't care. Dash wins. See you in detention. And the parents, again, they've kind of apparently, again, through stupid circumstances, they've ruined things because, again, foam equals doom.
I take this as a running gag where Lancer's kind of always punishing Danny for the parents.
Yes. Yeah, Danny. Okay. Like, Lancer is the main teacher for Danny. Whenever Danny gets in detention, it's usually by Lancer's hand. He's the disciplinarian of all the teachers.
Okay.
I mean, basically, those are the 2 teachers you really see in the show: her and him.
Right.
That's the gym teacher. So let's see. So then the parents say he's in trouble because, again, it was a get out of detention project.
God. Just can't win. You're right. You're right. It does kind of pile on him in a way.
So again, I mean, that's the thing. You gotta respect the show for going the direction of, well, our hero made some selfish decisions, and he's paying for that, and he's doing the honorable thing by,
Oh God, you know what it reminds me of? Oh,
what?
You know that episode of Hey Arnold with Iggy?
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, I know, but it still reminds me of that.
Yeah, seriously, that was one of the worst episodes of Hey Arnold to me.
It was.
Oh God, that is such a bad episode. That is the worst writing on Hey Arnold. I will go as far as to say it. That was the worst writing on Hey Arnold.
Has some Hey Arnold is filled with gems. It's a fucking brilliant show. We talk about it all the time.
That Iggy episode is just a rarity of, like, oh my God. Like, it's not just the fact that it's not just bad. It's so poorly written. It's bad. It's like that's embarrassing for Hey Arnold.
It was the open house of Hey Arnold.
Well, again, we gotta revisit that. We can't just keep saying it. We gotta revisit it and make sure.
Well, the thing about revisiting Open House is that it's literally just Marie going around stealing shit for 43 minutes.
We gotta make sure we're not glazing over something big that happened that episode.
I don't think we are. I really don't.
I'm just saying, I fear that we're just right. If we keep jumping on that bandwagon, like, oh, it's not a good episode. Then what something big happened we just forgot about. I want to make sure before we keep harshing on it. Okay.
I mean, if that's true, then I'll definitely eat my own words. But I
just want to make sure.
For the life of me, literally cannot even remember anything that happened with Walter. Anything in that episode. It's just like Marie going around stealing shit.
Something had to have happened with that. Something had to have happened there.
I know. Okay.
Anyway, so again, unfortunately,
I'm gonna look up the Wikipedia summary.
I don't think the Wikipedia is gonna tell you, Dave. I think you actually have to watch it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I'm just curious to see if there's any, like... I'm curious to see what Walt's role is in that episode, because I legitimately have no idea.
Okay, but back to the episode, though. But you see what I'm saying, though, with the character Danny. I mean, he's paying for his mistakes. So, again, it's kind of like the Spider-Man can't win. Parker luck. He can't win, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And, again, he's paying for his mistakes here, which is kind of a good lesson to the kiddies out there. Look, kids, don't cheat. It's never a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
It's never a good move. Anyway, so then he's in trouble, and then, of course, because he's in trouble, poor Danny lost the bet. And then we get the element of the episode that is really scary. Forget your giant spider, Tiki. Forget that. Just
I will never
that
forget
right.
my giant spider.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this to me is much more horrifying than that spider, like tenfold.
You're saying that eating something gross is more terrifying than being eaten alive by a giant spider.
You know,
I fail to see that.
Okay, well, now that you say it like that, I think I'm halfway, just half though. I do not fully agree with that.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm still saying, I'm thinking this is like it's an even measure here. Like, well, this is just about as scary.
I mean, I'll give you the nails on a chalkboard thing, because that was legit, like, psychological terror. I'll give you that.
I don't know what's about to happen here. This is awfully terrifying, and just the thought about this is like, oh god. So unfortunately, Danny lost the bet, folks. And again, it's an ending you don't really see that often, where your lovable protagonist hero, your superhero in this case, he
literally, like, yeah, you're right. It's like all these shows, it's kind of like there's this one thing that he's trying to avoid have happen to him, and here it's like, nope, no avoiding it. He has to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rarity. You don't really see it that much, and unfortunately,
he lost. You know what? At least he was allowed to season them.
He's allowed what?
Well, he has the salt and pepper. Hello?
Right.
You there?
I'm here, Tiki, but you're kind of cutting out. So it's...
Oh, can you hear me now?
Right now, I can hear you.
Well, I'm just saying, the timing of the gag is ruined now, but at least he had seasoning.
Yes. Anyways, then, well, the framing of it, though, is like, is Danny in the middle there with the friends on the side, and Dash, bon appetit, Fenton, and it's the grody-looking underwear on a platter. Thankfully, we don't see him dig in, thankfully.
No.
Scary, but still, it's a really scary ending. That's the real scariness of the episode.
Okay, so let's wrap this up quick, because obviously we're having some technical issues. So final thoughts.
So again, our hero is not forced to eat crow, but forced to eat something much worse.
Yes,
so that's our ending. So that's our Halloween special. What do you think of it? How does it stack up?
No, I really enjoyed it. It's definitely got a lot of things going for it in terms of the Halloween special. I really, like, it's definitely a big favorite of mine when we have the whole designing your own haunted house. You know what I mean? Like, we saw that in the Rugrats. Home Improvement did it, and I kind of wish that we did that so now, to tell you the truth.
I blame you for that.
I know. Just like Inspector Gadget's my fault.
Absolutely. All on Tiki.
But no, it's like it's got that whole designing a haunted house, but with the legitimately supernatural twist to it, so that's fun. And it's got a really, really good villain, a really good kind of like standalone sort of Halloween-inspired villain, which is also good. Some good humor. It's fine. It's a really good episode. I mean, I definitely have to see more of this show because, like, honestly, I feel like we spent more of this podcast kind of like describing other things that happen in the show to explain stuff than actually talking about this episode. But no, but it's good. It's definitely good.
Not the best episode for Danny, but again, he learned a lesson though, which is that's kind of what the show's about. Just him kind of going through the teen experience there. Sometimes you lose bets. Sometimes things don't work out for you. That's a good message to have. But why I have to be eating underwear?
No, but it's really good. I mean, like I said, I think I enjoy it more as just a Halloween thing, and it's nice to be getting back to the Halloween specific episodes again.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, really good episode.
Yeah, it's It was spooky, and that's the show with ghosts. That's what you want.
Indeed, indeed. All right. So final thoughts from you.
Final thoughts. Again, I like the episode. Again, rewatching, it's like, yeah, unfortunately things didn't work out for Danny, which is the reason I held off on talking about this. But you know, it's kind of, you need some knocks. You need to knock the hero down a peg so he can learn some stuff. As I'm going on mentioning, but again, Fright Knight was really a big reason I had to bring stuff, because again, the Fright Knight premise of this episode is really the most awesome thing about it, and that's the reason I really want to talk about it, because I love the show, and Fright Knight was kind of one of those big events for it, and he only came back one at a time, and there's just, it's a fun episode. Again, the haunted house thing I thought would appeal to you, and
no, the haunted house thing definitely appealed to me. That was definitely kind of like the main selling point for me. As soon as I saw the premise was like two people kind of like doing these competing haunted houses, I was like, that's really fun.
Yeah, if you're gonna do kind of like a teen, show about a show with a teen protagonist, this is kind of the appropriate episode to go with for a Halloween special. Make it going up against the bully. Sometimes you lose. That's the way it goes. Sure. And it worked out for that purposes,
Oh man. I'm legitimately concerned. Well, I would be legitimately concerned with his health if he wasn't already dead. Let's put it that way.
That's the thing, eh? So he's like, the thing is, he's like a half ghost. I mean, he died, yet he still has human left in him. We don't know. They never explain. Just the idea he did die there.
I'm concerned with his digestive system. Let's just put it like that.
Well, let's just end it on a hopeful note, by the way. Let's just use my fan theory of like how he's okay. I'm just going to assume they're actually.
I'm sorry. I just find it delightful that you have a fan theory about someone eating underwear.
Okay, it's that there's this one episode where Danny eats really fast, and he basically swallowed a spork, and basically he uses his hand to phase into his stomach and pulls it out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to assume perhaps, not that, and get your mind out of the gutter. He's just pulling it out of the stomach as he's digesting, throwing it away.
Well, I'm just saying, like half digested underwear being pulled out of his stomach. That's almost even worse. Okay. Anyways, so
or he just phases, or just like a direct phase, so just eats it and then just like no digestion, just like.
All right,
like a skeleton.
So what are we talking about on the next Haunted Holiday Hijinks?
Next, folks, we're talking about another one of my favorite shows, talking about Kim Possible and their Halloween special. Kim Possible.
This is another episode that's directly on Halloween, correct?
Yes.
So that's fun. Okay. And the name of the episode?
Unfortunately, the thing with this episode is that I want to say it's a possible Halloween. I don't know. I'm sorry, folks. I don't know the episode's name.
No, it's okay. I kind of feel like it has like a very generic Halloween. It's like, I think it's called like a very weird Halloween. Literally, it's like a very weird. Okay,
Halloween.
well, as long as it has a Halloween in the title, then I'll be able to find it.
I'm pretty sure it's a very weird Halloween or something, like a really unusual Halloween, something like that is in the title.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's a fun episode. It's not one of their best, but it's a fun episode.
Yeah, right. So with that in mind, well, folks, our spirits grow weary tonight, but don't worry, they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in more haunted holiday hijinks.
Ho-hee.
Tunnel of fungus. Ooh.